Hi, I'm Kane, and I've always been a storyteller. Whether it be through my passion as a singer-songwriter or working as a journalist, I've always been drawn to crazy stories and telling them to my friends. But there are some stories that haven't been told quite enough. So grab a seat, a drink, and hunker down as we delve into the realms of those forgotten stories. Welcome to Breaking Bard. Stories untold, tales that we've spun, quite a few missing, where have they gone? Come and fill your mind with ghosts of the past, now that we're breaking bard. 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 Hello everyone and welcome to Breaking Bard episode 7. Can't believe we've got 7 episodes. Today we are in a different location. We are in France and we are in my old flatmate and one of my best friend Maeve's new house in France. So today, yes, we have the return of Maeve. Hello.
I'm back again.
She's back. And then it's a very special episode because today I have the honour and privilege of introducing you all to my other best friends. This is like my bestest friend group. We have Ellie Wilson. Say hi, Ellie.
Hi, it's a privilege to be here.
I bet, honestly. I couldn't wait. And then we've got Meggylove.
Hi. Oh God, I'm very nervous.
You'll be fine. Everyone will love you. I just want to first let's raise a glass of Aperol Spritz.
Hey.
Cheers. Plonk, plonk, plonk.
Plonkcast.
We've known each other, for over a decade, closest to 15 years,
Definitely.
maybe 13, 14 years.
That makes me feel old.
Me too. We all English growing up in France, we all kind of gravitated towards each other. Grew up, first nights out, first pukes, mostly at Maeve's house.
First whiteys.
First kiss and tells, mainly to each other. Now we're successful businesswomen. Can we say that? We're all successful businesswomen. First of all, Maeve got a job offer today. Cheers to
that. Amazing.
Thank you.
Many cheers.
Milky bars are on you. I'm getting a kitchen.
Getting a kitchen, finally. I mean, we're in her kitchen, but... Yeah, we have, we're actually doing it very DIY today because we have one microphone currently suspending from a rusty nail that we found in the wooden beam. Hey, it's French, it's rustique chic.
Yeah.
We love it. So please apologise if the audio quality isn't as it usually is, but we just roll with it. It tells a story.
Yeah, that makes it authentic.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, this is basically an orgy in basic Breaking Bard terms because there are not one, not two, but 3 guests for this story that I'm going to tell you today. So, I kind of thought I needed to curtail this story a little bit. I don't know, it was hard because I was like, normally I like to find something that would kind of maybe be relatable to one of the guests, but here I had to do it to 3. And actually, it's our lovely mutual friend Consti who put me onto this story. The day I was looking for stuff, I was actually looking around and I had 2 in mind and I started to think, but I don't know, I didn't feel that, this one. Consti sent me an Instagram and was like, babe, you need to do this story.
I love it.
And I was like, oh, I love it. And actually, while I was doing it, I realised that there's some links to where we are.
No way!
God, just as a warning, I think the chaos magic button is going to be...
She'll make an appearance.
She'll make an appearance. Meggylove, you can do it. Okay, well, I guess, without further ado, should we get this thing going?
Yes.
Okay. So, ladies, my lovely 4 Prosecco spritzers. I'm going to be telling you the story of Marie-Angélique Leblanc, La fille sauvage de Champagne, or the wild girl of Champagne, or otherwise known as the world's real Mowgli.
Oh.
So, if you have any stories, as Consti did, you'd like to share with me or recommend me, then please don't hesitate to send me an email at breakingbardpod@gmail.com. That would be great. Help me do my work, basically. So, for centuries, people have obsessed with what they called feral children. So I'm going to be talking about feral children and wild children a lot, and mainly basically because that's the term they would use. Poor things, they're not animals, so... But we'll get into that.
Aren't we all feral children at heart?
I think we all really are. These were stories of children who, for some reason or another, grew up without any parents, usually isolated and in the presence of animals. People have made their livelihoods off of this phenomena, such as famous writer Rudyard Kipling, who was inspired by various true feral children's stories of the time to write the fictional story of Mowgli in 1894. So exactly 200 years... No, 100 years. Shit, I'm not that young. 100 years before most of us were born. Now, we all remember the story, made even more famous by the Disney film based on Kipling's book of the same name, The Jungle Book. Yeah. A young boy is raised by a panther called Bagheera and a friendly bear called Baloo. So just a couple years later in 1912, Edgar Rice Burroughs introduced the world to another young boy, this time a lord who grew up with apes, becoming just as agile and strong as them among the trees, Tarzan.
Of course.
Oh.
So if we look back even further to 300 BC, the legend of Remus and Romulus, whose story tells the events that led to the founding of the city of Rome and the Roman kingdom, legend goes that their mother, Rhea Silvia, was visited by Mars, the god of war, and fell pregnant. Cheeky. She gave birth to the twins, but being a holy priestess, had to give them up.
Oh.
Abandoned, but not for long, as they were then adopted by a she-wolf who let them suckle at her teeth.
Mentioning, you dirty dog.
Literally. Who let them suckle at her teeth for milk and save the two boys. I actually wrote pause for laughter. I thought as I was writing it.
Eyes going, she's like,
Literally.
she-wolf.
I was writing it in the plane and I was like, I could see you, Ellie, being like, teats. I mean, what else would you call them?
Nips, nipples.
Nipples.
Sucking your nipple.
Isn't it?
Suckle on, like, wolf milk. What does that taste like?
I think it's a bit lumpy.
Oh, don't.
No,
Too
let's
rough
not.
for this.
Oh yeah, we are all we went to bed at 6 last night, so.
But we're still paranoid free.
Oh yeah.
You'll get the hungover giddiness.
Wow. You are, listener, you are privileged.
You're in for a roller coaster.
So yeah, so basically, you know, these stories have been quite famous and quite present around society.
Why is it always wolves?
I don't know, yeah. Because there were wolves in, it's true, in Mowgli as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apes with Tarzan.
True.
Are we?
But, so I guess by now you figured I'm going to tell you the story of a feral child, but this one is slightly different because in most Mowgli-esque stories, they are boys or men.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is a girl. Her name was Marie-Angélique Leblanc. And so this is the story of l'enfant sauvage de la Champagne.
Amazing. Love it.
So, first we must time travel back to the 18th century to an area that was known at the time as French Louisiana or La Louisiane Française. This was a territory in North America occupied by French colonists that stretched from as north as present-day Saskatchewan in Canada all the way down to New Orleans. So here's a picture. So it was that.
All right,
Oh, they got a lot.
That's massive.
I know, so that was the French all the way down there, coming all up.
All the way up
Oh,
north.
they knew how to colonise those French.
So all the tribes of, so all the tribes, you know, there was a lot of them, especially on the Canadian border, etc.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, there lived a tribe of Native Americans called the Meskwaki people. They called themselves Meshkwaki-Haki, which means the Red Earth, as they believed their gods had made their ancestors from clay. They lived along the St. Lawrence River in present-day Ontario. The tribe may have numbered as many as 10,000, but years of war with the Huron, another tribe whom French colonial agents supplied with arms, and exposure to new European infectious diseases reduced their numbers. In response to these pressures, the Meskwaki migrated to the southern side of the Great Lakes to territory that much later was organized by European Americans as the states of Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa. So basically they were up here, and then they were pushed to living around here.
Wow. Right.
The Europeans knew this tribe as the Fox Indians or the Fox tribe. French colonists had misunderstood one group of natives who named themselves after the cunning animal, and so they named the whole tribe Les Renards, or the Foxes.
Right.
Yeah, bastards.
Yeah.
Innit?
C1. Oh, that'll do for everyone.
Yeah, innit? Whereas they were like, oh, we're the 4 Prosecco Spritzers. Like, we're the Foxes. You know, we're the... And then they were like, oh, they're all Foxes. They're like, we're not Foxes. We're
Everybody's a
Yeah.
spritzer.
Not exactly. You can't just fucking wake up with a foxtail.
Literally.
Kinky.
Wow.
They were a people who used the land around them to make medicine. They were extremely proficient in herbalism, and their ancestors had been living in these parts of the world since 1000 BC.
Wow.
So they've been here for a long
A
time.
long time.
A long time. Colonists come, start taking all their land away from them.
Gosh.
At first European contact in 1698, the French estimated the number of Meskwaki as about 6,500. By 1712, the number had declined to 3,500. Then came the Fox Wars, of which there were 3. The Meskwaki allied with another Native American tribe against the French and their native allies. So the French had convinced other native tribes to go with them against this native
Against
tribe who had someone else
people.
called the Sac. And so the Sac and the Meskwaki were like
At war.
at war with the French and other tribes.
Must
So
have been a real mess.
oh god, yeah. So in order to try and protect their lands, they were doing this battle. But sadly, obviously, well, they had bigger weapons, more force, and so they were lost, and nearly all the Fox warriors were killed. Many women and children were taken into slavery or killed by French allies. So I'm just going to quickly, for the context, finish where we are at because it's really interesting. With the Meskwaki tribes where they are today. By 1910, the Sac and Meskwaki tribes banded together and only totaled about 1,000 people.
Wow.
During the 20th century, they began to recover their cultures, however. By the year 2000, their numbers had increased to nearly 4,000. Still, it's terrible, but... And so now they
really
live...
small numbers, isn't it?
Yep,
So many people just got wiped out.
Yeah.
wiped
For the
out.
sake of,
Their
new
cultures,
territory
you know.
gains.
It's insane.
People
It's-
coming over and be like, no, it's mine.
Yeah,
No.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
And forgotten. And now today, imagine then, like, you're walking around America and, like, it's America, it's the dream. And everyone's like...
Land of the free.
Like,
Home of the brave.
it's true, but then also, like, everyone's like, this isn't the America my ancestors knew.
No,
It's like
No,
everyone's got
100%.
walking amnesia, right?
Yeah.
It's just all forgotten what happened. And you've got these, you know, tribes and people who are living in reservations.
Yeah.
Like they're
That's
fucking
it, yeah.
animals. Like reservations, like a natural park for people.
Yeah.
It's so sad. So now that we have some context, let's go back to the early 1700s. A young girl whose first and true name we'll sadly never know
Oh.
was born to the Meskwaki tribe during the first of the Fox Wars in around 1701, start then.
Okay.
Little is known about her early days, but we hope she managed to catch a glimpse of her family's ancient culture before her world around her was upheaved. So this story is hard to tell as there are conflicting reports with variations in the storyline on the web. It's obviously an old story, so there's all these things about, you know, like there's one book is brought out, it's believed to be true. There's more and more, basically this story is getting more traction now because it was forgotten for hundreds of years. So there's more and more finding out, so I'm not surprised if we will find out more about this person. But so there's a few things there's a few storylines, so I'm going to try and say all of them in a way.
Okay.
So that we know, you know. So the first story I heard was published and told by Radio France in 2017 by the Chronique de Isabelle Sorante. So a woman who came, spoke for 4 minutes and kind of resumed it. But then I wanted to dig deeper and I saw there's less details. So I'm going to kind of base myself on this version, but we'll mention the other versions as we go along. So In 1715, according to Radio France's report, the young girl was taken in and adopted by a French noblewoman living in Canada at the time. So we believe perhaps, there'd been these wars, maybe her tribe had been massacred, or maybe she was, left abandoned and someone took her in. Other reports say she was put into slavery and bought by this woman as a young slave. However, she would only have been about 4 or 5 years old, so...
Surely not.
Yeah, so I don't know. Would you buy a 4-year-old?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No.
Times were so different, and people did things that you wouldn't even, question. So perhaps
There were some reports that said because she was quite light-skinned, they might have painted her black. And tried to sell her as a slave. Because there was this whole thing where the whiter you are, the more human you were seen as being. So to convince someone to take someone as a slave, dark times, bubbers. Dark times. So in any case, we know she was with this woman until in 1720 they headed to France and arrived by ship in the port of Marseille. However, the city was under siege from an epidemic,
Oh no.
the plague.
Not good.
Turn back around.
Go back off. Go back to sunnier pastures.
Abort.
The atmosphere, as we can imagine, must have felt like the end of the world. With people
we all know
being
that one.
Yeah, we do. Confined to their boats. And so the noblewoman decided it was a good idea to leave the girl with the owner of a silk-making factory. Yeah.
You just leave her.
Yeah.
I brought you all this way.
She's
you don't
like-
know what's happening.
I know we need to confine, but I've got money and I need to go.
I've got stuff to be doing.
Yeah.
So she left her with this man. So she's thought to have been raped by him. And just had a terrible time.
Oh, God.
Another version of the story says her boat upon which she was a slave being brought to France was shipwrecked and she managed to run away as the ship washed upon shore. So pretty conflicting sides of the story.
I hope it's the latter.
Yeah, I know. But in any case,
rape.
well...
But also, would a 4
shipwreck.
or 5-year-old be able to swim to shore?
Sorry, that was when she was taken in, so here she'll be about 9 years old.
Oh, right, okay, sorry, apologies.
No, that's fine. So yes, she's 9 years old.
Yeah.
Poor Baba.
Poor Baba. But in any case, whatever happened... Sorry. Whatever.
We don't care.
Okay, now. Sorry. No, in any case, the young 9-year-old made friends with another little girl who was a black slave of the same age. Radio France said she was probably from Ethiopia. I don't know why, maybe at the time, perhaps that was the common country that the French had been stealing people from.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But this girl was supposedly working in the silk factory and probably facing the same horrific day-to-days as Marie-Angélique. So, unable to bear their horrific day-to-day, the pair decide to make their escape and run away into the French forest.
Go on, girls.
Go on.
Yeah, do it, run.
Love that girl power.
Leg it.
Girl power.
Girl
love
Leg
it.
it.
Yeah.
But at that age as well, imagine you must have been petrified
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
to run away into the wilderness.
Innit?
Just be.
I mean,
The thing is, you grow up so quickly, but they were years ahead of what they
Yeah.
should have been.
They're
Yeah.
16 in the head.
Yeah.
but that's exactly to think that they thought we've got no other fucking
That was their last
option
resort.
but to run into the forests. And they're we are in the Périgord right now. We can see what these forests are like, and if there wasn't that one road, it would just be that severe.
It's green.
It's pretty green around here. But they ran off to the forest in South France. So, not speaking the same language, they learned to whistle and make up their own kind of sign language.
No way.
Bless their hearts.
Kids can always communicate
That's the
without
thing.
language, can't they?
Children
They
have
always
got
find a way.
massive capacity to
I
be able
love
to
that.
speak to each other. It's always we all moved to France when we were young, and it's like you
We
see a
needed
French
to.
person that just grabs you by the hand and is like makes a sign, and you just play with them all day.
Absolutely.
And it's like, oh, what did you talk about?
Well, we didn't.
He's my best friend.
Literally. Yeah. Same when we met you guys, we learned, northern, southern.
You cheeky bastard.
I'm I've just noticed we're sat on opposite sides
Yeah.
of the table.
Table, yes.
Sorry.
Watch yourselves, yeah.
No, we're all Northern at heart.
Too far.
No, yeah.
Back off.
Every Southerner just wishes they were Northern. That's why.
Of course you
I
do.
think so.
In
We're
your
jealous.
In our heart. Yeah. So glad I can show our audience me great Northern accents. No, normally I'm great at it, but I just
You
panicked.
are, babe.
You are
Don't
great.
let pressure get to you.
I feel like you
goodbye.
haven't been, you haven't been too northern.
I have.
Yet.
Oh,
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems
but
like
not-
far.
Yeah, but
it's
not
true.
as much as like when you go to Burnley and you're like, hey, I'm in Burnley.
It's true. Well, babe, we're not in Burnley here, are we, babe? I mean,
We're in Périgord.
we're in Périgord.
Périgord.
So now the thing I'm taking is someone from North who's moved to France and his Northern accent's starting to soften up. That's my chameleon. That's what I'm going
Oh,
for.
is that your character?
Yeah, that's my character.
Okay. Sorry. You'd lost me for a second.
His name's Dean. Christ.
Dean.
I love him.
Love Dean.
Love our Dean. Anyway, so then, back to the girls. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
So, they lived alone in France's forests by teaching themselves to fish, to hunt, and to make shelters by digging holes under roots to protect themselves from the elements.
Wow.
How amazing.
I wouldn't think to do that.
No.
I wouldn't
What would
know
you...
what to do.
I want to hear it. What would you do?
I'd probably cry.
Curl up in a ball and mom.
Innit? Rock yourself to
Yeah.
sleep.
It's mad because, like we were saying, like they were totally robbed of their childhoods. Like they had to not only necessarily like grow up into an adult and think in adult ways, but protect themselves from anything. You know, it wasn't even a case of, you know, being a young child in a house by themselves, but having to live in a house, but they were outside and having to just
In a
survive.
forest.
Yeah.
Just survive.
Madness.
It's insane. You can't ever think of doing
You can't
that.
think about it. So, they survived this way for 10 years.
Wow.
Walking for thousands of kilometres through France's wild forests.
No way.
So, they started off down in south. Remember what her name was? She was called La Sauvage de Champagne.
Champagne, that's
She
all
was
the way up.
found in the north of
Reims.
France.
No way.
In France. Reims.
Sorry, like, just piss off the moi.
Innit? Reims.
A house.
So they survived walking through France's wild forests, thousands of kilometres, so far. Can you imagine walking from the south of France to the north of
I
France?
can't even imagine driving it from here.
Literally. So, until a Frenchman who owned woods in the Marne, in the Champagne region of northern France, spotted the girls, dirty clothes, and eating the raw flesh of the animals they had hunted. Wow. Some people saw Marie stealing apples, and it was this thing of like, oh, there's something in the woods. There's someone in the woods.
Yeah. Oh, stop.
And there was a few, like, they even set their bulldog on. There's one story that says that the owner of the woods set his bulldog on the girls, and that Marie-Angélique had a huge stick and a pointy stick, and...
A huge dick.
No, a huge stick!
Wow.
Wow.
Took a turn.
No, sorry, she had a club. She had a big club. And apparently, one whack clubbed the dog to death and fled up a tree into the branches, running away. But we don't know if this actually happened or was the beginning of, you know, people fantasizing this.
Yeah, true.
Oh, folklore, exactly.
Exactly.
Not just a good Taylor Swift album, is it?
Oh, spicy.
I've not actually listened to it either.
I don't, yeah.
I'm just really down with the kids.
Oh,
Timothy.
saying that. You know.
Ooh,
You've got dad beard now and everything, haven't you?
it's true. But isn't she nice and taillée?
No,
She's
lovely.
nice and
Well trimmed.
well trimmed, thanks. It's hard to speak just English, isn't it?
It is so
This Prosecco's going down a treat. How are you
Really
feeling?
well.
Doing
I
alright.
was
Hey, me too. I'm ready for
I'm
another one.
holding back from necking this last bit.
Don't worry, we'll do a
I started
cheeky.
to
We'll
sweat
do
a
a
little
cheeky.
bit.
I'm sweating.
Oh, I'm sweating
Fuck
too.
off.
I bet.
I can smell it.
You've been waiting 10 minutes
That's
to say
the
that.
garlic.
I'm sweating the garlic out. I'm a garlic girl.
Ellie's has eaten a lot of garlic in the last few days. And let's just say that.
Body weight in garlic.
Jesus Christ. Right. It's such a shame our podcasters can't see the dirty
visual.
side eye that you just gave Meggylove. I love it. So, she walked all that. Fucking hell, I can't even walk to the corner shop on a Sunday when I'm not motivated enough.
And barefoot as well. They won't have any Birkenstocks.
Literally.
Oh no.
No
Birkis.
No Birkies.
No Birkies.
Sponsored by Breaking Bad is sponsored by Birkenstock. If not, we wish. Apparently they had like tattered clothes of their original clothes, but also had animal skins that they must have, pelts, literally. And they walked so many kilometres.
Get your steps in.
Get your steps in.
Oh yeah.
So, Marie-Angélique's companion
Oh no.
Oh no. I know what that look means.
Stop.
was killed by the farmer. Sadly.
What, the farmer that found them when they'd gone up north?
I think killed, yeah.
Oh, I've got
So
goosebumps.
that's the story that Radio France says. And I know that as journalists, they can't just be spouting. This is why I've based more my version on Radio France's report.
Yeah, because it
because
can't be lies.
they need to be fact-checked and all that. So in that story, her companion was killed.
Oh, they've been together for like 10 years and gone through all that.
It's horrible. Can you imagine? And it's also like, what the fuck? And then in other stories, either she never existed or they were together but then they had a fight about some possession or animal and just decided to part ways and split and everything.
Right.
I think that's bullshit, and I think it might be racist bullshit.
Right.
Because this girl was black too, she was killed.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, they're wanting to dance around the fact that it was probably.
Yeah.
I think it was easier to wish her away, to say that she didn't exist.
If you spent 10 years together, you're not just going to be like, oh, you took my animal pelt. Fuck off. You know, they're bonded. Yeah.
They had their own language.
She took her away from a horrific day to day, and they said, let's go together. And they're not going to be like, that's my kidney, please. Like,
blood sisters.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like you three with your periods. It won't make the cut, but I had to say it.
We sink from afar.
Right. Don't egg him on.
I know. God. New period podcast. Period podcast. Oh no, this is too good now to not include.
Period podcast.
A man talking about.
The thing is with periods.
I think that's exactly what we need.
That's such a male thing to say.
Someone mansplaining.
Literally, I think that is what the world. God, I'm joking, obviously. Don't cancel me. So, when they found her, archival reports say that Marie, who was at the time 19 years old, was mute, had claws instead of fingernails, only communicated by using animalistic whooping sounds, and preferred to eat raw meat and drink blood rather than cooked food. She also had an eye twitch that some scholars say may have resulted from being permanently on Ellie, give me a wink. Tonya, there he is. Some stories even say all her teeth fell out when she tried to eat a cooked meal, but I mean, that's debatable.
No.
I mean, if her teeth could rip through raw meat, surely it could go through a nice bœuf bourguignon, right?
Yeah, come on, let's not take
that
it
lamb
too
last
far.
night. Tender.
Oh, yeah.
8 hours cooked.
But a bit rich for someone who's been eating raw meat for 10 years,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Well,
her
her incisors will have been in impeccable condition.
Do you think? Nurse Meggylove?
She must cut her
Meggylove.
up and have a look.
It's true. Meggylove is a nurse. So can you please tell us? I wanted your feedback. What would that do, you know, to a human body 10 years out in nature?
Well, I don't know.
No?
Take you back to the old times when we were cavemen. And
she'll have had an amazing immune system.
That's true.
Her feet will have been different because she'll have been flat. When you walk bare feet, your feet change.
Your toes spread out.
Yeah, your toes spread out. And if you've been barefoot for a certain amount of time, you can't actually go back to wearing shoes because your feet don't fit into shoes properly. So her toes will have spread it out. And I think the natural arch in your foot kind of lowers as well. So she'll have had flat feet.
Interesting.
Harder skin on the feet.
I heard about that her thumbs were like larger or something like that for some reason.
Thumbs?
Not sure I can understand that, but we'll go with it.
Maybe fruit and nut.
What?
Fruit and nut.
I don't know.
make your thumbs bigger. Who knows?
Gouging in tools. Or...
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Oh, girl!
Gouging eyes out. I mean...
Whose eyes?
Sheep.
Bulldogs.
Oh, that poor bulldog.
That poor bulldog. Didn't live to fucking tell the tale. But so, after being essentially captured, she was baptised as Marie-Angélique Leblanc and taken to a hospital. She slowly recovered physically and surprised many by becoming fluent in French after being mute for 10 years.
Wow.
Well, I suppose not fully mute in the sense that she didn't talk out of her mouth. It was just a case of they had their own different language.
Yeah.
So like you said earlier, she'll have adapted wild noises, like things that they'll have heard in the forest. So really, learning the French, which is what?
Bilingual.
Literally multilingual. She just learnt that other language, which will have been alien to her, really.
That's so true. And that's crazy, because she would have arrived young, speaking a bit of French, you know, the French noblewoman, maybe it was already, and then she just, like, anything you would have forgotten if you're not practicing for years. But maybe that kind of, it told back to the stuff she started to read. She started to learn when she was 7, 6.
Maybe.
So, what's interesting is actually, because a lot of the other stories of feral children that I'm going to delve into a little bit later, a lot of them, she's only one of the only ones that managed to, like, completely re-become literate and speak. A lot of them damaged so bad that could never until their death.
No, I'm having flashbacks to a film that I think I got made to watch on, like, a film class. I
And exactly what it is about the girl who was blind, deaf and mute.
No,
that's a great one.
But I've also seen that one, Anne Keller?
Yeah, Helen Keller.
Helen Keller.
That's an amazing story. She was
is.
blind, deaf and mute by birth, but she still managed to find a way to communicate.
This woman who...
Someone would touch her hand.
Oh, don't.
I know, babe.
I'm too
For this emotional.
No, this was like a little boy who was like, a wild child that had been found, and it was this teacher that trying to teach him like the
L'Enfant
ways of...
Sauvage.
French film.
I'm going to talk about
Alright,
that later. She knows it.
Oh.
She's been sneaky peeking.
I got the
She did print. She always prints the pages. I'm always afraid she's going to pick. Nah, she's too integral for that.
Integrity.
That's one of her core values.
Core values.
Told that in her interview.
So she got the job.
Yeah.
So, obviously, she was an object of curiosity, and people all over the world came to see her. She received visits and letters from royalty, and the Duke provided her with a generous allowance, which enabled her to move to Paris, where she briefly became a nun. So, Ellie, if I gave you a generous allowance and said, do what you want with it, babe, would you become a nun?
No, I did the opposite.
Me too.
You know it.
But do you know what? I think she just wanted... Say that again in case you didn't hear.
I said, I wouldn't do Ellie.
There we go. So, if you want to shout out your boyfriends, it's now. This is the boyfriend shout-out corner.
Nah, I'm alright.
I feel bad. Love you, Wes.
Okay, great. Moving on. Nothing for Quentin. He's upstairs. He'll get a kiss later. Anyway, so... However, when the Duke died and his allowance stopped, Marie-Angélique, who faced becoming destitute, was granted an hour-long audience with the Queen of France. The Queen of France, Louis XV's wife.
Wow. Why is everybody so interested in her? Like, so she's been found and then she's been re-educated and then people feel bad for that they've let this happen?
I'm going to get into that, actually. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into that, but great question. So she saved her financially and basically, tossed her a coin. It's like, here you go.
Toss a coin.
To your Witcher. Now, her story is an almost unbelievable tale. Oh my god, right, this is... Ellie! You foreshadowed it. Now, her story is an almost unbelievable tale of human strength, and while it is amazing that she managed to learn to speak, write and read, and she loved books at the end. She was like, it helped her escape, and she just really loved it. We can see now with a couple century perspective that this is also an ugly tale of racism and xenophobia. Mm-hmm. So the white Western obsession with these wild children reinforced and confirmed their colonialist views on race.
Yeah.
Her reform was a statement, basically, about the supremacy of the Western Christian way of life. Even her name, Leblanc, which means the white one, suggests that the French didn't only want to scrub her of her time in the wild, but also of her heritage.
Oh my God.
After she was captured, she was seen by a doctor who bled her, because they used to, love bleeding people at the time. They were like, "Are you feeling bad? Let me take some blood out of you. You've got too much." And apparently he wanted to put French blood in her veins to see if that would help her.
Bloody hell.
Literally.
It's such a twisted way of thinking, isn't it?
It's so twisted. Fucking eugenics. It's twisted. It's horrific.
Oh, bloody hell, the anticipation.
Ready?
Hey!
Hey! Welcome back to... great. Welcome back to this episode.
Wow.
Oh, the balls.
That was actually so satisfying.
Cheers again.
Cheers, back in the room.
Cheers, cheers.
Hey.
Chin chin.
So, the reform of feral children was a particularly appealing idea in colonising countries, as non-Europeans were already seen as animals. But the feral child was a representative of a savage race removed entirely from the humanising effects of Western civilization. So people were obsessed with this idea of like a different kind of human, because it reaffirmed this idea of like normal and different. So if you saw someone who was like uncivilized, then that kind of made you feel like you're more normal, right? Which is why we tend to judge. And when the feral child obsession died down across the centuries, humans replaced it with another fascination for serial killers.
Whoa!
Again, humans whose brains seem to work differently, which at one time at once frightens but also reminds us that we are normal. So
no way. So
that's
feral
why
children were the OG true crime.
Probably, yeah.
Wow.
The OG mystery true crime, What's that in the woods? It's a child that has been criminally taken away by Western society, so we need to help her get back. And it was like this crazy idea,
Yeah.
So really interesting, I thought that point was. But far from the magical qualities of the fictional stories of, Tarzan and Mowgli being able to be stronger, more connected to animals, speak their language, all these wild children's stories are tragic. So I'm going to tell you a few other of the people, mostly boys, basically. So John of Liège, who in the 16th century, so in the 1500s, at the age of 5, fled into the Belgian wilderness to escape enemy soldiers, and was so terrified he never came out of the woods again until 16 years later at the age of 21. Wow. He'd also kind of lost, society, and he'd lost knowing how to speak, etc. Peter the Wild Boy, who was found mute and naked in the woods in North Germany. He was brought to London after the king liked him, found him entertaining, and he was paraded about as a showcase.
Great.
He preferred sleeping on the floor and made people laugh when he tried to take their food or kiss girls, until he never learned to speak, and so in his later years he was sent to live the rest of his life in the countryside until he died in 1785. It is now thought that he was probably originally abandoned in the German woods because he had learning disabilities.
Oh, poor angel.
So we also have Victor de l'Aveyron, the guy who L'Enfant Sauvage, a great film, is about. He's a French boy who was again found tattered, scarred and mute wandering the woods near Aveyron. It was later found out that his parents had tried to slit his throat and abandon him in the forest. He obviously survived and then was found. He died at the age of 40, and although he had learned some social cues such as bathing or empathy, he never learned to speak. He was just too mentally damaged.
It's a really, weird film. Interesting, I guess. But also a bit strange, because, they're like really just like, as you said, like trying to push these ways onto this boy who's like a bit recluse and not quite, like in the same world as everyone else.
Well, no, because he'd lived a completely different one,
and
I
then
suppose.
I can't remember it very well, but I think there's times they have proper goes at him, and it's like, no, come on, like stand up straight, like you need to eat with like cutlery and stuff, and do all of these like social things that you can see in his eyes. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
What are you on about?
I just want to eat my porridge,
Yeah.
With my fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or drink rabbit's blood.
Well,
Sure. Okay.
That's what
I mean,
apparently Marie-Angélique apparently wanted to drink
but
rabbit blood.
they're not gonna pick a bit of blood over like river water, fresh running water.
Exactly. That's why, as well, it's like it just feeds into this. It feeds into the kind of craziness about it. You know, like how different as a human. So, the last one, Dina Sanichar, who was discovered in 1867 in Bulandshahr district, India. He was mistaken for an animal living in the mouth of a cave by some villagers, but this shape was actually a 6-year-old boy who would get the nickname of Wolf Boy. Missionaries spent the next several years trying to rehabilitate the Wolf Boy, but years in the wild had taken their toll. Sanichar also never learned to talk before his death in 1895, and he is thought to have perhaps been Rudyard Kipling's inspiration for Mowgli. So although these stories are, all in the last couple hundred years, our obsession for wild children is still quite present. Am I interrupting?
Sorry.
Wow, I feel cheated on. What were you saying?
I said at least that was really cute.
Oh, lovely. Sorry, just let me know if I'm boring you.
Sorry.
Man. I'm just kidding. So, although these stories are now a couple hundred years old, our obsession for wild children is still very present. A Guardian article written by Marie-Anne Ochota back in 2017 mentions a more recent discovery of a quote-unquote monkey girl who was allegedly found living with monkeys in northern India back in 2017. The world went crazy with the news, but barely days later, the article was amended as it was found out she hadn't been living with these monkeys for very long at all. And actually, she'd been abandoned by her family just a couple days earlier.
Oh.
So, what we had instead was this less magical, more tragic story of an abandoned and severely traumatized child. And so, this article notes a few recurring tropes to what a feral child looks or acts like, or what we've seen through, the past. So, 1, the feral child make the sounds of an animal. Children will mimic those around them and seek company and comfort from whatever source is available. So if the most communicative creature in your life is a dog, it is possible you'll pick up the habit of making barking noises. But that's like everyone.
Adaptability.
Exactly. So it doesn't mean that you're thinking like a dog or that you're speaking a dog. Animals do, of course, communicate verbally. But the noises we interpret as meaning, being the meaningful clucking of a chicken boy or the howling of a wolf girl are in reality a disordered or pre-verbal vocalization of a profoundly damaged child. 2, the feral child is covered in hair. So some science says that if you are left long enough, some kind of gene can make you more hairy. But basically it's bullshit. In many cultures, hair has always been a signifier of power, control, and morality. The lack of it, where it is, what it, if it's shaved, if it's taken. Some haircuts, are socially appropriate, some are not. Others indicate a breaking or flouting of the rules. So it's no accident of language that we talk about taming our hair, or scruffy hair looking wild or mad. You've got mad hair. Controlled hair equals a civilized or controlled self. So a feral child's unwashed, uncut or tangled hair is natural but also disturbing.
As Lady Gaga said, I am my hair.
She is, and we all are. Whether it's tangled, whether it's messy. And so it exposes the animal side of every human, actually, that we have, if we let it go. A neglected child may well look hairy, add fear and a storyteller's eye for freak show detail, and you end up with fur. So, they weren't furry.
Should have seen my hair this morning.
Furry fucking beast.
See my hair now.
Number 3, they have claw-like nails, sharp teeth, and staring eyes. Children who haven't grown up with social, communication won't learn the social etiquette of eye contact. I mean, you didn't for like 15 years. Just kidding. So they appear to stare like animals. It might seem scary or be an indicator of innocent naturalness, but either way, people will notice that it's odd. Long finger and toenails aren't a surprising thing if you've had no one to cut them for you.
Akins.
Hey!
Who cuts your nails for you?
Well, stick them toenails.
Ellie cuts them.
With my teeth, I do.
Oh, Jesus. Chaos.
Push the button.
Why don't you cry about it?
I hate us
so much. Number 4. The feral child can't eat cooked food. Most feral child stories relate some episode where the child refuses cooked food, or if they try and eat it, it makes them sick. You know, hers, so her teeth fell out. Exactly.
She's had a raw diet.
Exactly. Cooking is what makes us human, right? In the idea of like civilized, because we fire and stuff like that. But in reality, a distressed child in any situation will likely refuse all food.
And don't want to cook it.
Exactly. And that, yeah. I mean, when you're a child, you're like, I don't want it. Fuck off. I want something else.
If you're not feeling good, then... also, can you imagine if it's like spices, different textures, different things, you're like, wow, what are they giving me here? What is this?
Yeah.
The first time I had coriander, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Get this off my plate now.
Literally, I remember saying, because your mum made a prawn curry, and it did taste soapy for me, but I now love it and I've got used to it. So my genes evolved. But honestly,
coriander genes.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But now, back to Marie-Angélique. So, she lived the rest of her life in France. She died in 1775. A wealthy woman of 63.
Really?
Yeah, she was wealthy.
Oh,
she literally went from rags to riches. Which is good on her, because...
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting to go into, you know, like, the whole wider thing, but this is a woman that was born in a tribe that hardly exists anymore. Over another continent. She makes it out. She lives through France's forests.
Yeah, she ran away.
She probably walks past where we are. That's what I was thinking yesterday when we were driving around. I wish I could wait to tell you the story, because I was like, oh my God, it is so wild.
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe Marie-Angélique and her little friend, her little companion, maybe walked through the Périgord. Probably.
Could be. Possible.
So, the story of Marie-Angélique's life remains little known in English-speaking countries and appeared to have been almost forgotten for hundreds of years until quite recently, the publication of Julia Douthwaite's articles and book in 2002. It was featured in broadcasts by the French radio channel Europe 1 in 2011 and by the France Inter. France Inter, you love France Inter.
I love France Inter.
In 2012, and then obviously Radio France did this chronique about it in 2020. But something to remember, however, is our responsibility in telling these tales. Because if one lesson is to be learned here, it's the danger of othering. Until not too long ago, merely a couple decades really, people still believed there were 6 races of humans, with white people being superior to their distant cousins. Across all cultures, there are tales of semi-humans living beyond the reach of safety and society. Mermaids, yetis, centaurs, you know, different people. But also ways of explaining, you know, disabilities or mental or physical birth defects. Maybe the fairies took the child and changed it for a changeling. Yeah. Perhaps they were cursed or possessed. Either way, the child's difference means they are no longer quite properly fully human, and it excuses what parents or society would do to a child.
Oh my God.
It's not my child because it's born slightly different. The fairies took it. They washed themselves as a responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's why fairy tales and stories like we're doing now, words have so much importance, because these kind of stories still have a lasting effect today on children's welfare. Globally, children with disabilities are less likely to have access to an education or to correct healthcare. And a child with a disability is also 3 to 4 times more likely to be the victim of abuse than a child with no disability.
It's true. See it a lot.
Yeah. Sadly, raising a child with a disability also is a fairly modern practice. Back in the day, it was seen to be too hard, and the safest practice was usually to abandon children. Humans are social creatures. We learn to be in society by being cherished, loved, and educated as we grow. A child growing up without access to an education or love to be taught their place in society is a victim of child abuse and would naturally come out of the situation slightly or severely damaged. So although Marie-Angélique and the boys, you know, it was amazing that they were able to reinsert themselves into society and learn to read or write or speak, all these wild children share the tragic story of being forced to leave or chased away from society, and ironically, it wasn't until they had spent years alone in a forest that they were seen as deserving for human attention, although for some it may have been too late.
Oh.
So that is the story, lovers, of Marie-Angélique Leblanc and the Wild Children.
Wow.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you for that, Kate.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
What a story.
What a story.
And it's really true, actually, to point, like how it's told and to put it in that perspective. These are just all like little traumatized babies
who have been let down.
Yeah,
let
and you
down.
need to think about like who let them down and put the blame on who abandoned them on the first place, instead of just like trying to find the glory and being the one to have taught them the ways of civilization, as if the woods just like magically shut them out.
Civilization that let them down in the first place.
Literally.
100%. They are a product.
Exactly.
They're a product of the whole environment surrounding them. If they hadn't been let down in the first place, they wouldn't have, the end situation wouldn't have been the same. Now I know you said like in this case it could have been it wasn't entirely sure how she came about being by herself, whether it be because of the war or that she'd been taken, but had it have been that she had been taken once again, that's us as a race that had let her down,
Literally.
and she was a product of us.
Yeah.
And in her particular story, which isn't, I guess, the case for all children, she's a product of colonization.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was just like living her native best life.
Yeah.
And then like war happened and came, here's a slavery boat, we'll take you off to Marseille. And then you end up in Champagne. I mean, Champagne. Worst regions to land in. But
Jesus.
No, I mean, terrible.
No.
Like, really.
And,
She shouldn't have even been there in the first place.
She shouldn't have. But I think perhaps she, ironically, she returned to what she knew. Back in nature, back in the forest with her tribes. They lived from the nature.
Yeah,
they knew the berries
ground.
to eat. They lived
that's how she
more.
survived so long.
I think, because look at that. She's taken away from that. She's taken somewhere else, and she's like, and it's horrific.
Yeah.
This Western society, what does it bring her? Trauma, the loss of her generation or her people, rape, work, plague. So what does she do? Death of her best friend. She runs to the forest, and maybe she found peace there. Maybe that was something.
A comfort blanket. That's all she knows. Like, right, okay, if I don't have anything, at least I know how to survive by myself. Natural instinct for her.
I'd be so interested to know if she ever talked about it or what she had to say about it.
Yeah.
So she did. So basically, she because she could write and read, she was interviewed by many people actually.
Has she written a book or something?
So there is a book.
But it'd be interesting to hear it from her words.
Well, that's the thing.
As opposed to people that have interviewed her, because I can imagine even, with it being so many years ago, yes, okay, they'd have interviewed her, but they may have altered the interview to fit a certain narrative, of being this wild child.
And making money off her.
100%,
Exactly.
that whole fascination with her. And I don't know, it's bizarre. It's like, how the circus evolved, having these, in quotation, freak shows,
absolutely.
and people came to see them. And this will have been in the case for her. That's like this fascination of this little child,
Other, right?
yeah. And so you're right. Like any interview, the narrative may have been changed. So it'll have been interesting.
Sorry.
Can't speak. I'm sorry.
No, you can.
Me.
Don't throw her in the woods.
The piss out.
Don't chuck me in woods, guys.
I'm not chucking no one.
No, we shouldn't laugh. No, but still, it'd be interesting to hear from her own words.
Yeah.
But maybe it was one of those that perhaps how much would she have delved into it, because you don't want to bring up previous trauma. It could have been a lot to speak about as well. So
that's why I was interested as well to know, because it's like, well, what was her experience of that? Does she even could she even put words to it, or was she in like a bit of a trance? And then
sometimes when you go through traumatic things,
you forget.
Yeah, memory loss as well.
Yeah.
You shut off.
So basically, there was this one woman called Marie-Catherine Omacel a.k.a.
Gosh, you were.
Okay, join in the other names. She was a French biographical author of the first half of the 18th century. She was wife of a merchant and semi-anonymous Madame H.T., who published a pamphlet biography of the famous feral child Marie-Angélique Leblanc. It was called Histoire d'une jeune fille sauvage trouvée dans les bois à l'âge de 10 ans in Paris. It was she'd apparently been helped by Marie-Angélique to write it.
Yeah, we should know.
But she got one thing wrong, which was she was not 10, she was 19, found in the woods. So that's why this story is very hard to tell.
To get the truths.
To get the actual truth. There was even a lot of people for a long time who believed that it was completely fictional. But in 2004, French author Serge Arol argued that it was indeed authentic after spending 10 years carrying out archival research into French and American history.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
the dates match up.
Exactly. So he found some archival documents showing that she'd learned to read and write as an adult, making her unique among feral children. So she definitely existed, but it is that thing about these old stories that it's really hard because, as you said, she could have because basically apparently this pamphlet that she'd made, she would give some of the income to help Marie-Angélique live a little bit.
Okay.
Give it back a bit to her. So they had this idea, they needed to make it entertaining, right?
Yeah, they romanticised it.
Maybe romanticise some of it. So someone, but she was really like, well, lots of scholars at the time really appreciated her story. Scottish philosopher Monboddo, who interviewed Marie-Angélique in 1765, considered her to be the most extraordinary person of his time. But
Monboddo is a great name.
Yeah, I know.
Look at Monboddo.
Monboddo. But yeah, he was like, she's amazing.
Yeah, really interesting.
Really interesting.
But so now, like, the first scholarly book on this case was published in 2002, as I mentioned, by Julia Douthwaite, called The Wild Girl, Natural Man and the Monster, Dangerous Experiments in the Age of Enlightenment. And I think it must be that thing of, like, who's the monster here?
Yeah.
You know, you go back to Pocahontas in Disney, when they're both savages, that song where they both see each other as the savages.
Yeah.
And it's basically, you see that, it's all perspective.
Yeah, and also any book written about her, especially up to a certain date or time, however you want to see it, they're not, like I said, they're going to have that bias, because why would we want to take any blame of doing that to her?
Yeah.
So it's almost going to like change that narrative and almost not shift it to somebody else. Well, probably, shift it to somebody else, when realistically, you know, she's a product of our failure. And no one's going to want to take any accountability for that.
Of course they're not.
So the truth's probably going to be twisted. And there'll have been so much that no one actually knows because she'll have never shared.
Yeah, and probably, she was probably more traumatized. Can you imagine? So let's raise a glass to Marie-Angélique and all the children that were fucking let down by this society, man.
And even ones today.
Exactly.
I saw this guy that takes on like terminally ill children that just get dumped in hospitals because as soon as you know that they're disabled and they're terminally ill, why do I want anything to do with it? It's not, why should I look after it?
It's
just
so
sad. You brought this being into the world. Why let it down?
All you have to do is love them.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Ugh.
She was let down. Do we know what she looks like at all?
So, I'm glad you said. It wouldn't be breakable tradition without a little show and tell. Yeah, that was good actually.
Well done, guys.
I'm paying for that.
We have here a picture of the statue.
This is interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's been a while for you, isn't it, Maeve?
Breaking tradition.
You feel home? Are you back?
I'm back. I love it. I've loved being back.
So we have a statue of La Sauvagesse de Songy, because that was the small town that she arrived in Champagne. The top one there.
Oh, okay.
So that statue.
That's meant to be her.
That's meant to be her. And then
It's a bit Greek
drawing.
goddess.
Yeah, I was going to say. The
So
bottom
it
one.
looks like, do you know what it looks like? She's got look at the details. She's holding some stuff that could be like wood. She's kind of, if you look at the detail, it might tell that she's wearing skins and she's kind of got a weird hood on her. You know, maybe
Robin Hood.
Yeah.
I think they've tried to maybe depict that, but I can't really see that.
It's not really well done. Sorry, Sanji. Sorry, Sanji.
A generic statue.
Yeah, generic statue, goddess of wood.
That's you. That's what he calls you.
Hey, you're sexy.
And then here's a little caricature drawing of the time.
I'd say that's more like realistic. Well,
that's like Cosette in Les Miserables.
It does look like Cosette.
It really does. Petite Cosette.
No way. So, you know, we could have all been these poor children.
We could have.
So true.
That's
you
true.
could thank your privilege.
Yeah.
For sure.
Check your privilege.
And also just this idea that, like, how we can miss the actual point by enjoying a story. And I think that's why it's really important to do this episode, like this kind of episode on this as well, because facts and entertainment is, you know, that's what storytelling is. It's a fine line.
Massively.
But people do get hurt from language, you know. And these fairy tales, you know, from India to South Africa to America, to Ireland, there are cultures of change. Iceland too. So they would say some children, the hidden people, the elves would come and take some changeling babies, basically because the parents were like, we don't want this child. And so they had convinced themselves, like fairy tale magic could convince themselves away from the responsibility of being a parent.
100%. Well, you know, there's stories out there. I say stories, but like there's articles out there speaking of this island that's, I don't know where it is in the world. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but there's this island and it has its own little community on it, and they have zero touch with, you know, I say the term civilization loosely, but they have no contact with, you know, the Western world, and they are a tribe and they live by themselves. And, you know, you do see stories of, you know, eager and maybe interested tourists that do maybe want to go to this island, and, you know, it's not ended very well. You know, they've never been seen again after.
That's the guy in North Sentinel. That's it, the North Sentinel Island, and an American man tried to go there. Remember, because he wanted to declare Jesus on the tribe, and he was shot and killed, shot by an arrow and killed. And we know that because we could see his body on the beach.
But then there's some tribes that celebrate people with disabilities, and they see them as shaman, and they can connect with the other worlds, and they have a different. They see something that they don't, and they celebrate people that have disabilities because they can speak to gods that they can't.
Definitely.
Oh, wow.
On this pedestal.
But it's like queer people, right? Like in some same thing, like trans people in some Indonesian tribes, in Native American Two-Spirit, non-binary people, you know, were celebrated. Who's the problem? Western Catholicism, you know, Western Christianity came. It all does, doesn't it?
Does.
All these stories,
religious institutions,
honestly, and the Western world. That's why a lot of these stories that we tell are forgotten. But that's why now it's our responsibility to bring them back.
Most definitely, we're our worst enemy, but we need to be.
We are the ones that can bring it back.
100%. We have to acknowledge that and take some responsibility, and, you know, bringing ourselves back.
Okay.
Thanks for telling us that story.
Thank you. It was amazing.
Thank you for having us. It's been amazing.
I know. Finally, you get to hear our northern voices.
The best one.
The sultry tones
of Yorkshire and Western Lancashire.
Whoa! The red and the white rose.
Literally, you are my red and white roses.
As one.
Literally.
Beautiful.
On the rare occasion.
It's perfect timing because Finn's just arrived.
Oh, amazing! We love him.
All right, so thank you so much for this episode, girls.
Thank you.
Can't wait for another episode of Breaking Bad.
Of course, can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. And everyone at home, I will be posting the pictures. Hope you enjoyed this one. And of course, you can follow us on all the social medias. Just type Breaking Bad and you'll find us, baby. All right, bye.
Bye.
Let's get pissed.
Yay!
Now that we're Breaking Bad.